The video tour you are about to embark on is of a building built during the heyday of an 1870s and 80s mining town called Silver Reef in Utah. This building now serves as its museum. The people you'll see in this video tour are actual docents who work at this museum, and you might actually have one of them as your tour guide when you schedule your visit here. When you come, plan on spending at least an hour to see all the displays inside, stroll around the grounds, and follow the walking trails.
Welcome to the museum at Silver Reef. Imagine yourself arriving here on the stage and on the loading block over here, facing this impressive building of stonework and massive doors. This is the Wells Fargo and Company building. On the right side that you see the two doors was where the Wells Fargo Express office was, the banking, the freight, and the stage business. On the left side over here, which we will enter, was the Woolly London Judd Mercantile. The Mercantile is where we will go in and see some of the characters and ghosts like myself of the day. They are our volunteers. As we enter, you're going to see a person that is of a local fame, more nationally probably. He's an artist, and one of the reasons this building is preserved is because it was occupied most of the time. Prior to the museum, it was Jerry Anderson and his studio.
Hello, I'm Jerry Anderson. I'm a sculptor, and I used to have my studio here in this station. But this stagecoach here is an exact replica of the original one that carried the silver from here to Nevada and back. The piece that you see here is here for a while until we do the large stagecoach, but it lends itself so well with the Wells Fargo building.
Belly on up to the bar here, the brass rail. Well, it takes you back. It takes you back to that time frame when there were fewer rules and more rowdiness. Well, it also takes you back to why the city of Silver Reef even exists. Well, it exists for only one reason. Silver. Silver. Silver and sandstone. Nowhere else in the United States has silver been found in sandstone. It's extremely unique, and when you come, you'll hear tales of wagon ruts. You'll hear tales of silver dripping from fireplaces made of sandstone, and you'll hear about heavenly white grindstones made of sandstone full of silver, and you'll also hear about Meltifarius Murphy, who ends up getting tarred and feathered. We docents can take you on your journey of discovery through finding the sandstone, to milling, to processing into a fine bar of silver. Right here we've a model of a stamp mill. There were 5 in the area, and these stamp mills ran 24 hours a day. And as Bob's my uncle, it was noisy in Silver Reef, and that was part of the daily life.
Please come with me into the side of the building that housed the Wells Fargo Express Company. Our most important artifact from that important business is the original vault. You can see from the heavy metal doors that it did a good job of guarding the silver bullion. We also have a small safe, and on top of that, a decrepit old wooden box, which doesn't look like much right now, but in its day, it did a great job of safeguarding valuables that were being hauled by wagon or stagecoach. Of course, there were many other businesses in Silver Reef. In fact, at one time, Silver Reef was the largest town in Washington County. Also, in 1877, early in the boom, for a while, an average of 2 businesses a day moved into town and set up shop, most along Main Street, which ran for a mile. Miners and mill workers, businessmen and professionals, shopkeepers, families, all came flooding into Silver Reef to make it a boom town. In this room, we have artifacts of the era, showing how folks lived and reflecting many trades, crafts, and cultures. Various displays show everything from shotguns to ceramics, flat irons to whiskey bottles, and give you a glimpse of what life was like at the end of the 19th century in a Wild West mining town.
Many people are surprised to learn that Silver Reef had a Chinatown of 250 people, which is substantial considering that that's the same population of Leeds at the time. Although they were not able to work in the mines, the Chinese were very influential and appreciated members of the community, and it is an honor and an inspiration to talk about them and their contribution here at Silver Reef. Because of the 1880 census, we have a really great idea of the people that were here during the time. We have painstakingly gone through our archives and have collected information on each and every person that we can. This is great for people when they come and they have limited information on one of their ancestors. We are able to expand that information for them, and it's an honor and pleasure to do so. Our museum has lots of unique items, including this apple peeler and this salesman's sample. People today and people in the 19th century were very similar in many ways. I don't know about you, but I don't like to buy my clothes or furniture or make any big purchase without seeing it first. And they thought the exact same way back then. The great example is this salesman's sample. This might be in the back of a salesman's cart. You could try it out, cook on it, and if you liked it, you could send it back for the real thing. In many ways, they were just like us. The drawers in this historic case hold many treasures of the past.
Now, as we come to the rear of the express office, you may have noticed these wooden floors. The wood is Douglas fir from Pine Valley Mountain, and it has lasted 140 years. Imagine people like me having walked these same exact floors, buying food, clothing, boots, stagecoach tickets, and telegrams. And today, also consider yourself walking through the museum on these same floors.
The items in this case show the fashion of the times. By analyzing these items, we can learn a lot about the people who wore them. Like most dynamic mining towns, we have our fair share of colorful characters. Here is a listening station where you can hear their stories.
We now are exiting through the museum gift store, where you can find informative and historic books, coins, memorabilia, native jewelry, and more. Visitors often like to spend some time here to discover that item that reminds them of their visit to Silver Reef. We step out on the rear deck and look over the walls of the Lubbock House towards the White Reef and the site of the Barbie Walker Mill and Hoisting Works. The mill was one of 5 operating around Silver Reef. By the way, behind the museum, you'll see both the Buckeye and White Reefs, as well as the Red Cliffs. Silver was mainly found in the Buckeye and White Reefs. These reefs are sandstone ridges, which are the western edge of the Virgin Anticline. They get their name because, much like in the oceans, these ridges or reefs posed a barrier for travel. Below us in the basement of the museum, we have a surprise for our visitors, a replica of an underground silver mine.
As we exit the museum out onto the rear deck, you're going to see our old potter house. The potter's long gone, but today we have a diorama of the town. Shows you what the town looked like back in its day, as well as some models of mills and a model of the old church. In addition to that, you're going to see a number of other things as you are out here on the deck. Our pathways that go out through the old community, and you see a couple of the portions of the old town. Interpretive panels, including the kiosk across the street, and a numbered trail guide will help you visualize Old Silver Reef. Look for the guides in a box just outside the front door of the museum. This brief tour must leave you wondering, what is the rest of the story? Well, you just need to come out and visit. Check out our website for other videos of Silver Reef, for our hours of operation, and events and lectures that we hold on a regular basis.
Thanks for taking the tour. We hope to see you soon.